Welcome to the Board Game Community Show. I'm your host, Riley Stock. Before we get to the guest today, I wanted to address some business first. Let's get down to business. My second guest was Phil from Organized Fun, the podcast, and I had a big backlog of episodes of interviews, and I just barely caught up on them and realized that I never plugged when I went on to Organized Fun. So you can find me guesting on their podcast. So my wife and I played code names with them. So if you look up that episode, and then I played Marvel Champions with them the next week. It was a lot of fun. Phil and Mark, so great. Their podcast is great. They usually play a game and then they frag it, which is rate it according to fun, aesthetic, replayability, and gameplay. And then they ask Mark if it's a win or not, because Mark is not a big board gamer. Really charming podcast. I highly recommend it. Organized Fun. It's organized with an S because they're from across the pond. I don't know. Phil and Mark were actually both on the bonus episode that just aired on Wednesday. So if you haven't listened to that, go listen to it after this interview. It was a lot of fun, and I'd like to thank everybody that's listened to it and let me know how much they love it. It's been overwhelmingly positive, and I was so nervous because I do voices. I'm not great at voices, and it's a very big undertaking. I've only DM'd a Dungeons and Dragons game twice, and so I was BMing this, bunker mastering this, and it was very intimidating. But Phil, Mark, Elena, and my friend Matt were all so great. It's going to probably be a 4 or 5 part episode, and then afterwards we'll do an after show and talk about it. So those come out every Wednesday. My guest today is Sarah from Board Games in a Minute. She is such a wonderful guest, such a wonderful person. After we recorded this interview, she started posting a lot about the Israel and Palestine thing. I didn't know a lot about it, and I'm very grateful that she did bring awareness to that. And I would strongly recommend going and looking up on YouTube John Oliver, Israel, Palestine, and just listening to what he has to say about it, because I think he puts it so well, like he normally does. Okay, enjoy the interview. Hello. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
Now, Sarah, I actually wanted to get her on Nerding Out when we first started, and we weren't able to. But we have you now. Or I have you now. All by myself, I guess.
Yes.
The gist of the show is just getting to know people throughout the community.
Yeah.
You kind of did that with Quackalopes. You did that with Quackalopes. They got to know you like beyond board games and everything. So
yes, yeah, I've been on quite a few podcasts and stuff by now. So
nice.
There's a few out there.
You're an old pro now, huh?
Yes.
Well, for anybody that may not have heard any of those or any interviews with you, why don't you tell us about your board game journey? What got you into it?
Well, you want to know how I got into board games?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when I was little, of course, I played like the classics like Monopoly and Candyland and Life and things like those. But I was introduced to my first modern board game in law school, Catan. And then I wanted to play it all the time, but the friends who introduced it to me did not want to play, again and again. So I think we played a total of maybe 2 or 3 times, and then that was it, unfortunately. And then after law school, I moved to London for a couple of years, where I started attending London on Board, which is a board game meetup. And that's where I really got to discover so many amazing board games. So I that's like the start of my board game journey.
Oh, cool. Was there a game that, like Catan, that was my game too, that brought me back into the world. And then after that, it sort of like it just opened me up to more ideas of like, oh well, then I did Ticket to Ride, and then eventually I did
Mhm.
Marvel Legendary, and I was like, holy cow, like deck building, this is insane.
Yeah.
Was there kind of a pathway after that that got you even more excited?
Well, I mean, once I was in London and started attending those meetups, I started playing all kinds of board games over there, like some heavier, some like party kind of games, some fun, lighter games. And that's when I realized that there is like a whole world of board games that I don't know about. So, I mean, that really just paved the way. And then when I moved back and to America and I started attending another meetup and, just kept on discovering more and more board games. So I guess that's basically it. Yeah.
That's really awesome. Have you gone to like conventions or
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah, the only convention I've been to so far is PAX Unplugged, and I went the last 2 years that they had it, and, yeah, I'm dying to go again, so I'm really waiting for the world to open back up because I love PAX Unplugged, it's amazing, and I can't wait to start attending more conventions, like, I'm really excited because now I'm, like, the community manager for Fantasia games, so I'll be able to represent Fantasia games at conventions once those start up.
Oh, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
So they pay for you to travel
That
to
I don't
conven.
know.
Oh.
So so I guess we'll find out.
At
You
the
know.
very least, you can write it off as a tax write-off.
Yeah, we'll see, we'll see.
That's always been my thing is like, if I have a business that revolves around board games, then I can just write off all my board games.
Yeah, so this year I haven't filed my taxes yet because I know I was the night before taxes were due. I was like scrambling to try and get all of my videos, my sponsored videos and everything. And then I saw that we still have another month. So of course I delayed it. so so yeah, so I need to file my taxes and figure out how to do all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm self-employed, so it's like I always look for anything that I can write off,
Yeah. Why
which is
not?
so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. No, that's cool. That's really exciting that you're able to do that. I was actually looking at your prices,
Mhm.
which I was like, "What? Like you do not charge nearly enough, I think."
Yeah, I would agree, especially for some of the heavier games. Like people don't realize it ends up being hours of work. It's not just like
Yeah.
1 minute. It's like you have to read the rule book, play the game, and then make the video. And the video itself usually takes a minimum of an hour as I'm trying to figure out which components I need, what I want to say, and take after take after take, trying to get it right. I've had some videos that have taken me so many takes. Like I've had a couple that have done that. Now I had one recently that took me over 100 takes to get right just because I just kept on messing up something. So people don't realize, but it's actually a lot of work to make a 1 minute video because there's no post editing. It's not like I'm, saying one thing and then stopping and then saying another thing for 3 seconds and then stopping and then putting those all together. No.
Yeah. You yeah, it's all one take. You do it on TikTok, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And so then it's like you can't edit. Can you edit with TikTok? I don't use TikTok.
I think people can. I don't know how. So
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty technologically inept. I'm just trying to figure out right now how to shoot videos with two cameras so that I can start doing playthroughs and stuff. And
Oh.
yeah, for someone as technologically inept as me, it's pretty difficult. So that's one of the reasons I do it in one take. Like I don't want to sit there trying to figure out how to edit and stick together like different clips. Like no.
Yeah. That's smart. I love that idea because
Yeah.
I edit the podcast a lot and I wish that I didn't have to, or it's
Yeah,
my
that's too much
OCD.
work.
Yeah.
But then again, doing 100 takes is a lot of work too, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So can you say what the 100-hour one was?
A
Or the
100 it would
100
be
takes one, I
yeah,
mean?
100 takes. It was a Eternal Palace. I just kept on messing up.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a really difficult one for me. Holy, a festival of colors, I kept on messing up as well, and that was difficult because my little kitten, kept on wanting to come and play with the pieces and knock things around, and so I had to wait
Oh.
for him to stop doing that, and then, it's just that was a difficult one because of the 3 layered board, so
It's a really cool looking game, though.
Oh, it's so cool. I love it. Yeah, I really need to play it again. And one of the problems with being a content creator is that I end up having to play new stuff, which is great also. It's cool to be able to play a game and be one of the first few people in the world who gets to play a game that's now hitting
Yeah.
Kickstarter, right? That's really awesome. Like, I absolutely love that. But at the same time, I can't play my favorites over and over because I'm having to play all this new stuff. So, it's a pros and cons.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I actually
Yeah.
am really curious. And if this is I guess like an inappropriate question for a content creator, just say no, we'll cut it out. Uh, if like, do you ever get a game and you're just like, oh boy, this game is no good?
Yes, that's happened a couple of times. In that situation, I count my lucky stars that basically my videos are overviews and not reviews.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm teaching people how to play, kind of giving them the gist of the game in a minute. If I really like a game, you'll know it by, what I say at the end. And if I'm like, okay, this is a game you might enjoy if X, Y, and Z, then you can kind of figure out that way with how I personally felt about it. Um, so, I mean, you can pick up on those kinds of clues, but I would never bash a game in my 1 minute
Of
overview because I'm
course.
giving an overview. I'm not like giving a review. And secondly, just because it may not appeal to me, it may appeal to someone who does like those types of games. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Everybody's got different tastes. There's,
exactly. Yeah. Like, I don't like Munchkin at all. I've never done a video for Munchkin,
uh,
but I know that there's tons of people that love Munchkin, but I hate it. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
So Munchkin, you heard it here. Don't go to Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. What's been your like? I saw you recently did the new Kaman one, or
Oh yeah, that fairy tale
Fairy
in.
Tale Inn. Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. It's a cool game. It's a like a kind of like a cool twist on like Connect Four, but way better than Connect Four because in
yeah,
Connect Four you're just trying to connect four, but in this one, you have characters with different powers and you're trying to figure out where to put them into this like inn, and yeah, it's cool. It's a pretty cool game.
yeah. Have you ever been contacted by someone and you're like, "What? Me? Like, you want me to do an overview for you? Cool."
Yeah,
Like,
I had like that. I've had that reaction where I've gotten super excited, like, "Oh my god, these people are contacting me!" Like they want, like it's always an honor when, like, a big publisher reaches out to me and wants me to cover their games. Yeah, I'm always honored.
nice.
Yeah.
Let's rewind. And when did you start board games in a minute?
A year ago. So this is my 1 year anniversary. I started when lockdown began, and I love board games. Like I seriously just love them so much. And of course, when lockdown began, that meant that I wouldn't be able to run my meetup anymore because I was running a meetup where I live, and I wanted to still be able to interact with board games somehow. So I was on TikTok and I decided that I would start making board game content on TikTok because I didn't see any. And the time limit on TikTok is 59 seconds. And so that's how Board Games in a Minute came to be. Yeah.
Perfect. I absolutely love it. Like, I remember seeing some of your earlier stuff and I was just like, oh my gosh, how in the world can someone do this in a minute? Like, I can't even explain one section in a minute.
Yeah, lately on Facebook, I've been seeing those memories pop up of my very first few videos that I
Oh.
did. And I think I've come a long way, honestly, like from the first videos I did to the ones that I do now. I think that they're better now. I think that they've improved over time. Yeah.
Of course, practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your first one was?
Yes, the very first one I did was Runica and the Six-Sided Spell Books, and actually I ended up redoing that one because when I
Oh,
first did the very first video for Runica, it was just very like casual, just me kind of just giving a very brief overview of the game, but then just basically being like, "Oh yeah, and this is cool, and I like this component and this component." And then the second video I did was a bit better. Then the third one was much better. The third one was Awkward Guess, and then I was like, "Okay, I need to go back and redo Runica because I didn't do it justice." So if you go to my YouTube page, you won't see the first ever video because I deleted it, and then I did Runica again.
funny. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So in those earlier ones, you weren't getting paid to do it,
Oh, no,
right?
no,
You just
no. My first sponsored video, gosh, let me see if I can find it on this page here. Let's see. So I mean, in a way, I guess you could say that my first sponsored one was for Gunfighter, sponsored in the sense that they were going to send me a production copy as a thank you for doing the video. But as far
oh,
as actually getting paid, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. It
oh my
appears that was
goodness.
my first one. Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I don't think I
Yeah.
watched that one. I'll have to go watch that. I've watched a lot of them, but that one seems like a hard one to summarize in a minute. I like to go through your videos and see like, okay, which one seems like it would be a challenge and see what you do.
Yeah, it's some of the heavier Euros that are more challenging. So like, Abomination the Air, Frankenstein, or like Eternal Palace, which, I said took me about 100 takes. So it's like
Yeah.
it's the Euros that tend and end up being harder, like Carnegie, um, yeah, Darwin's Journey. It's the Euros that
Mhm.
are a bit harder to do.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Are you more of a Euro gamer?
Oh, I love Euros. Yeah.
Nice.
Recently I've been discovering about myself that I think midweight, like mid to like lower heavyweight games is my like sweet spot. Like, that's my jam. Like, I will play a much heavier game once in a rare while, but I think like mid to low heavyweight is where I really want to stay in terms of Euros. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it time wise or brain burn?
I'm just finding that the games that are rated much higher in terms of weight, it now seems to me the more I play them that, some games it seems like they're just complex for the sake of being complex.
Hmm.
And I'm starting to not like that. I'm starting to want, as a designer friend of mine says, he tries to make elegant simplicity, put elegant simplicity in his games. So where you have decisions to make, but it's not just a bunch of like number crunching and that's what makes it a heavier game. It's like, as the game is progressing, you start seeing the things that you need to do and it just kind of makes it, your decisions that you have to make just get harder and harder, but not because it's been made to be super crunchy like that. I don't know. I'm not very eloquent, so I'm not sure I'm getting my point across
No,
very
this makes
well.
sense. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense to me. I feel that way about a couple games where it's just like, what? Why is it this way? Like,
Yeah.
seems like this could have been done more elegantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something I've been learning a lot about in game design lately is like elegance. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
do you have a favorite game all time?
Obsession by Dan Halligan. Yeah.
No,
It's
I haven't
a
played that.
yeah, it's a worker placement. I would argue a little bit of tableau building, but I don't know how people come up with these mechanics or list, what
Right?
mechanics are in a game on BGG because like I feel like you can debate what mechanics are in a game sometimes, but Obsession is by far my favorite game of all time. Yeah.
What makes it your favorite?
Oh gosh. So apart from the theme, which I absolutely love, I do think that the theme and mechanics are integrated perfectly. And when that happens in a game, it makes me so happy. Like, I've played a couple games recently where the theme was just completely irrelevant. And I'm like, what does this theme even have to do with this game? And, sometimes when themes just feel slapped on a game, I'm like, like it makes me not care about the game as much. But with Obsession, like, you are in Victorian England and you're trying to increase your estate's prestige and wealth, and there's courtships happening, you've got servants and your gentry needs servants to like do these various events, and the way that it all works on the board, like thematically and mechanically, it's integrated perfectly, and I just absolutely love that.
Okay, so now I understand. It's Bridgerton, the board game.
I love Bridgerton. I watched it twice. I like binged it in like 2 or 3 days, and then I binged it again like a week or two later. I was like
Uh,
missing it so much. Oh my god.
well, let's go on off on a side rant. But did you hear that The Duke isn't coming back?
What?
Did you not hear that?
No! I'm going to Google it right now. What?
There's rumors that he's going to be like in the new Black Panther movie or something.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I know.
No.
So I'm sorry I broke that to you.
You did. I just Googled it. I cannot believe this. This is so sad.
I know, because he's like one of the main things and one of the
What?
most
How
interesting
could they
things,
do this to us?
right?
Oh my
But
god.
I think that he still could come back for the third
Oh my
season.
god. I just I don't know. I'm just very upset now. Oh my god.
I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have broken it to you.
It's okay. I would have learned sooner or later. I just yeah, I'm just going to have to process this tonight. Oh
Yeah.
dear. Yeah.
Just watch it again.
Oh god. Okay, I
Maybe we
might
can
do
find
that.
some gifs, whatever you say.
Gifts. Yeah.
Yeah. And then while you're watching it, like just have a random gif pop up.
Oh gosh, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna watch it again. It'll just make me sad that I'm single and alone forever. So, so, you know, what? I think I'll pass. Yeah,
All right, that's fair.
yeah.
Uh, okay, well yeah, perfect. Let's move outside of the board game realm for a minute.
Hmm.
You're an attorney, right?
Yes.
With housing, something to do with housing, right?
Legal aid. So I help people who are, so I represent people who are underprivileged. So anyone who comes to legal aid has to be below the poverty level, like a certain percentage of it, to
Hmm.
qualify for free services. And we practice civil law. So we cover a lot of different areas of civil litigation and civil law. And my area specifically is housing. So I help people who are about to be evicted or lose their housing benefits.
Oh wow, okay,
Yeah.
that's heavy.
It is so heavy. Just today, I had a really difficult situation. I had an in-person meeting with a client today, and it was just a very, very difficult situation. My job is very mentally and emotionally draining, and today was
Yeah,
one of those days. So,
I could imagine. My wife
yeah.
works at a low income, uh, a Title I school.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's poverty in America is just. I just wish more people would realize like how things. Well, I won't get into it,
No, we
but yeah.
can. That's fine.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, there's just so many changes I feel like we need to make in this country to help people out. But
Yeah, I totally agree. And
yeah,
it's frustrating talking to so many of my friends who just think like, I know what as a white middle class person, I know what poverty
no,
is,
and
like,
unless you've experienced it, which I haven't. So I'm speaking as someone who works with people who are in
yeah,
poverty, and I can see what they're going through. But even then, I haven't experienced it myself. You know what I mean? Poverty, like
yeah,
true poverty, is something different than me going broke like in a month because I've spent my money on board games or something. You know what I mean?
right.
That's
Kickstarter isn't poverty.
Yeah, no, it's different. It's having to choose between feeding your family or paying your bills or that's poverty. That's where it's yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard to, so many people think they understand poverty and think they've
No.
been
Yeah.
impoverished. Is that
Yeah. No, that's right. Impoverished, yeah.
okay? Yeah. And it's just like, no, like you think but you don't.
No, I mean, there's so many good articles out there too about how like studies have been done, and it discusses like how long it would take for someone to get out of poverty and what it would take. And it would take, I think, if I remember correctly, 30 years. It was like between 20 and 30 years of nothing going wrong for someone to try to get out of poverty because things happen, emergencies happen, there's like car problems, there's health problems, there's so much that happens. So people who are struggling to save up money, they end up having to spend their savings on an emergency, and that makes it very difficult to come out of poverty.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This sort of segues into your love of elephants,
Yes, I'm very passionate about elephants. I love them.
which I love seeing it, and I love that you use your platform for good. Like,
Oh, thank you.
I've learned a lot about certain things, and like I would have never thought about, like if I had the opportunity to ride an elephant, I would have been like, yeah, of course. And now I'm like, no.
Oh my God, that makes me so happy to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, and it breaks my heart knowing this type of stuff.
Yes. And I'm like, why are people so selfish? Your 2 minutes of pleasure is a lifetime of suffering for this animal, like an absolute lifetime. The horrors that that animal had to go through to be trained in this absolutely horrific process called Fajan. Like, seriously, if you Google Fajan and the images you will see of, I won't talk about what you would see because it's very distressing, but it's absolutely horrific. And your 2 minutes of pleasure is not worth an animal's lifetime of misery. It's just not.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, from that kind of sad one to you have designed a game or are
Or
designing a
I'm
game.
trying to, yes. And
Trying to, yes.
yeah.
So, can you talk about that at all?
Sure.
Yes.
So I'm trying to design a game that's about rescuing elephants from various like industries such as logging, tourist industries, elephants who are used for religious festivals who are also just as abused as tourist elephants are, like, circus elephants and street begging and trekking elephants. Religious festival elephants suffer the same kind of fate that those elephants do because they all have to be trained. Anytime an elephant has to be trained to do something, it goes through that horrific process. And anytime an elephant is used for anything, it's living a miserable life. So my game is going to be about rescuing elephants from these various industries and placing them into sanctuaries. It's going to be a worker placement, like resource management game.
Oh, very cool. That
Yeah.
sounds really interesting.
Thank you.
You had it kind of in the Zenobia Awards.
Yes, I did not make it to the second stage. My proposal was selected and then I didn't advance beyond that. So, it's something I was expecting, to be honest, because I know that the Zenobia Awards is more geared towards historical games or games with a historical or sociological, aspect to it, more so than, rescuing elephants. Like, I did try to tie in history to it and some societal aspects to it, but I think it just wasn't enough, to be honest. So
Hmm. I mean, it sounds like a great game. I would play that.
thank you.
What stage are you at now?
Yeah, it's funny you ask because just today I posted on Twitter that I really need to buckle down. Honestly,
Oh,
I'm at the stage where I've already decided what the mechanics are going to be in the game. Like, I've known that for like well over a year now. Like, I already have everything mapped out. It's just trying to create the resource cards and create balance. Like, honestly, I'm at the mathy part, which I've just been kind of putting off.
oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
I understand that. That's kind of where I'm at on one of my games. I'm just like, ugh, it's not fun to just sit there and
No,
crunch numbers.
no, and it's like, I don't even know how to begin to do that. Like, I'm not a board game designer by profession, it's
Yeah.
like, how do I know how to make it balanced? And, but at the same time, I realized that, I've become friends with a lot of people who work in the board game industry, like developers and designers. And now I realize that developers can, help with that aspect. So I'm going to try to just
Hmm.
get a basic framework going and start pitching it to publishers then, because it's the developers who will hopefully help me perfect it and get the balance correct then. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Do you
Yeah.
have a design group or anything like that?
No, I don't. Oh, I'm also co-designing a game with my friend Michael, where he came up with this amazing game, and a few years ago, I started kind of just giving him input on that game. So I'm also co-designing like a racing game with him.
Oh.
So I guess he's my design group. But as far as my elephant game goes, no, I don't. I don't have a design group. No.
Oh, okay. I bet. Well, you're moving soon, aren't you?
Oh, no, no. I
Are
want
you or no?
to.
Oh,
I
okay.
Yeah, I know, I just feel like my life is kind of in a rut in Ithaca. So I just need a big change. Honestly, I just feel like I need a really big change right now. It's just I was thinking about why I feel that way, and then I realized that most of my life I lived in one place. I lived in a suburb of Binghamton, which is where I grew up at my parents' house, and I attended college while living at home. And
Hmm.
then I moved away in 2006 for grad school in Indiana. That's when I started doing a PhD, but then I didn't finish the PhD. But after 3 years. I left with my master's. Then I moved back home for 1 year. And then I went to law school for another 3 years. And then I moved to London for another 3 years. And then I moved back. And now I've been in Ithaca for 3 years. So I'm starting to think that after 3 years, I have like an itch that I need to move now. So yeah, I think it's like a 3 year itch now.
That's life, right? Like, if you need to move every 3 years to keep it fresh, that's
No,
fine.
eventually I don't want to have to keep on moving every 3 years, but I just feel like I'm not getting what I want out of life in Ithaca. Like, I absolutely love this town. Like, don't get me wrong. Ithaca is like one of my favorite places on earth. I absolutely love this place, but I just feel like I'm not getting what I need out of life in this town right now. So,
I see.
yeah.
I saw you were looking at moving into Colorado,
Yes.
which that's my neighbor. I'm in Utah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, Colorado just seems like it would be in a really amazing place to live. And actually, when I was first applying for the New York bar, I thought about applying to the Colorado bar back then because I took the uniform bar exam and my
Oh.
score was high enough to get into like any jurisdiction that accepts the uniform bar exam. But at that time, I
Oh.
was like, Colorado so far. And now I wish I had done it because now I have to pay a lot more and go through this long application process when if I had just done it back then, you know, easy peasy, but oh well.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm curious if there's I'm sure that there's a design community out in New York. It's so big that there has to
I
be.
don't know if there is. If there, I think there might be one near Albany if I remember correctly. But I'm 2.5 hours away from
Oh, okay.
Albany. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's nice. I'm in like Salt Lake, and so I've got the Board Game Designers Guild here.
Yeah. One of the reasons I want to move to Colorado, aside from the fact that it seems like a really cool place to live and I would see mountains every day, it's just a 2 hour flight to like somewhere in California and a 2 hour flight to Nevada. And I hear that those are good places for protospiels. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's what I've heard from a friend of mine. So
Do it. And the nice thing about Colorado is, like, especially if you're in the Denver area, so many flights go out of there.
exactly, and that's where I would hope to be, and even if I don't
Oh,
end up in
nice.
Denver, like Boulder is just half an hour away from what I can see on Google Maps, and Boulder, actually, fun fact, I learned was designed like the city was planned by the same city planner of Ithaca, so apparently they're
Oh,
quite similar. So if I love
weird.
Ithaca, I think I would love Boulder. So
That's
yeah.
really fascinating.
Yeah.
What a weird random thing.
Yeah, so, Colorado, I really like when I get my heart set on something, I really get my heart set on something and I have to make it happen.
Nice.
And Colorado is definitely something I'm hoping to make happen. Of course, I'll need to find a job there once I get
Right.
accepted to the bar, but yeah.
That would be real exciting.
Yeah.
You'd be a hop, jump, and a skip away.
Yeah, I can't wait. I hope it happens. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. We've got SaltCon here, which is a pretty nice board
Oh,
game.
that sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a board game thing, but it is.
Salt
It's a
con.
board game convention.
Yeah.
I just realized how weird that sounds. Like, do we just go and talk about salt? We just get real excited. That's Utah.
That's funny.
What about outside of board games? What kind of hobbies do you have?
Oh gosh, that you know what? You just reminded me that I had backed a expensive telescope on Kickstarter, and I'm like, oh
Oh,
crap, what shipping address did I put for that telescope? Because if I do move, I'm gonna need to make sure I get it. Yeah, so I love astronomy. I love reading. I For the longest time in my life, a life goal of mine was to write and publish a novel. And actually, when I lived
mm,
in London, I actually attended like this event where you could pitch your idea to a publisher and stuff like that. And I used to enter like short story contests and stuff like that. But that didn't go so well because I'm a perfectionist and I would just start typing something and then I would hate what I typed and I would delete everything. Like I would start from scratch like all the time and it just wasn't getting anywhere. So yeah, so that didn't happen, but I do love stuff like that. I love watching good TV. Like I watch a lot of TV. And of course
yes.
eating and bubble tea and
Oh,
traveling.
yeah.
And badminton. When I was in London, I used to play badminton. I used to go to this badminton meetup. And then a friend of mine in Ithaca is part of the Cornell Badminton Club. But of course, and so I used to play with him. But then when the pandemic started, of course, that ended as well.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
We just barely bought a house in December. And the first thing, as soon as it started warming up, my wife was like, "We've got to get badminton
Oh,
set."
I
Like, and
love
so we
badminton.
we got
It's
it and have just been playing.
Yeah, I used to because, when I was really little, I remember during summer vacations, just me and my sister playing in the backyard, like badminton every day, like all day. Like, just we were obsessed with it. Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, going back to writing books and short stories, what genre?
I was trying to do like surrealist fiction. It's like surrealism. That's what I was aiming for. And
Hmm.
of course, my story had to do with the one that I aspired to write had to do with elephants. but
Okay.
um but yeah, it didn't really go anywhere.
Oh, that's cool though. Is that what kind of books you like to read as well?
I love fantasy.
Ah,
So fantasy is like probably my favorite genre, and then just like modern literature. I do like modern fiction. And sci-fi, I like sci-fi as well.
very awesome. What about TV, movies?
Everything. I watch a lot of TV. If you follow me on Twitter, you would know that. Like I
Yeah.
watch everything and a lot. So
I love it. I'm a big TV person too. It's like I could sit in front of the TV all day, and I do other things while watching TV, but
yeah.
it's just so many good stories
Oh
out
my
there.
god, there's just so much good TV out there. It's just
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Outside of Bridgerton, do you have a favorite?
Oh my god. So I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan.
Hmm.
Lost, I was a really big Lostie.
I
Um,
can I tell you a lost thing?
sure.
I so you remember in like the third season, I think Charlie like is about to get shot by an arrow and it goes through his guitar.
Uh-huh.
I own that guitar.
What? Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm
So,
so jealous.
yeah, I bought it at an auction. And then it also I didn't buy this, but they gave it to me for free, I guess. But they gave me his guitar case as well.
Oh my god, I am so jealous. Like
Yeah.
seriously, like I'm such let me tell you what big Lostie I am. I've seen the entire series from start to finish 6 times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
I'm
I'm a
with
hu
you.
I'm a huge Lostie, and anyone who says that the ending sucks, I legitimately think that they don't understand it. I think that
Thank you.
like so many people I've talked to who are like, "Oh, the ending sucked." I'm like, "Okay, let's talk about it then because I just think you don't understand it." So,
Yeah. And then by the end, they still say, like, they were dead the whole time. And you're like, see, you still don't
no, they
understand it.
don't get it. They don't get it. Oh my god. Anyway, don't get me started on Lost, but yeah, that's
Oh
one of
my
the
God.
shows I
We
love.
could have just done a lost podcast.
Yeah.
I get it though. Like, because I have those same conversations.
Yeah, one of, like, the biggest highlights of my life, like, back when the show was actually airing on TV was when I was posting in the Lost forums, and the actor who played John Locke responded to a post of mine, and I was like, "Oh my god, he responded," and I was just so excited.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
I went to Hawaii after it ended and
Oh,
just toured. Like, I bought a lost tour and then I would like just look up sites of different places and go to everywhere that
yeah.
I could go to because all the beaches are public there. So
Yeah.
like I went
Oh,
to their home camp
oh
beach
my
and went
god.
just like so good.
Lost was amazing. Yeah,
Ah.
shows other than Lost, like Community, like Arrested Development,
Yes.
Pushing Daisies, The Americans, 6 Feet Under, like, I'm listing a bunch of stuff that's just coming to mind, like Old and New.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I those are like so many of my favorites. Community is probably my favorite comedy.
Oh my god, it's my favorite. I've seen it probably at least 25 times. Not kidding. Seriously. Not kidding.
Do you know who Dan Harmon is then?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I went to go listen to his podcast live and then we went to a bar afterwards and I don't drink, but he
Oh, I
was
don't drink
drinking and
either. Yeah.
yeah, oh, nice. I always get crap for it, but whatever. um so but I went to like I was just like, "Hey, it was nice meeting you," saying goodbye to him and my friend had the camera out and just started snapping a bunch of pictures while I was saying goodbye. saying goodbye. And Dan just started like hugging me and then
Oh my
just
God.
rubbing his beard
How?
against me. And
Well, okay, that's a bit weird. But how are
it
you
was
like?
weird,
How are you like living my dreams? Like meeting these
right?
people, getting their guitars, and oh my God.
So I have his autograph on my season 1 of Community.
Oh my
It's like,
God, I'm so
oh,
jealous. So jealous.
yeah. Oh, and I went for my birthday and we ended up getting a cake. Like his girlfriend or wife at the time, I think it was girlfriend at the time. Anyway, she gave us a cake, not knowing it was my birthday.
Dan Harmon responded to a tweet of mine many, many moons ago. This is under a different Twitter handle, so no one would find it now. But
Oh, nice.
this was like a long time ago. But yeah, that was also a highlight of my life
Oh
when
my
he
gosh.
responded. Yeah, like how sad, right?
I love it though.
Yeah.
I totally get that. It's like the little interactions with celebrities, you know?
Yeah.
Even if they just like a tweet or something, it's like,
like, oh my God.
They
Yeah.
took the time to just heart that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like you're my best friend now.
Aw.
We're TV best friends.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you pictures of my lost stuff and
Oh my God.
my.
Maybe I need to do a 7th rewatch of it. Should I? I don't...
I keep trying to get my wife to rewatch it, so
The problem with me is like when I start doing a rewatch, I have to finish it. It's not
yeah,
like I can start it and be like, okay, I watched a couple. No, like if I start a rewatch of a show, I'm gonna finish it. And Lost is very long. Like it's very long.
yeah.
Yeah.
6 seasons before they went to being like 12 episodes long.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my God.
so good. You have 2 cats, right?
I do. Yes. So Dobby, he's my older cat. He will be 15 years old next month. I got
Oh,
him when I was a grad student in Indiana. He was a little rescue kitten. And so he's moved around a bit with me as well. And I love him to bits. And then last year, I adopted Toffee, also a little rescue kitten, my little ginger boy, like the long haired ginger boy who's a little monster. And he is such a little monster and he loves attacking the older cat. So eventually I
oh.
had to give him to his grandma for her to watch over him until he gets a bit older and calms down. So I do visit him every weekend. He lives with my mom. But yeah, he's still technically mine. It's just that my mom is just kind of watching him but I take care of all of his expenses, his food, his health, everything.
Yeah.
So and I visit him and yeah, I love him. I love both of them.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Are you just an animal person in general?
Yes, I love animals.
Nice. Are you in an apartment?
I'm
A
in an
house?
apartment. Yeah.
Okay. So there's also restrictions on how many pets and what kind of animals you
Yeah,
can have.
cats are okay though. So
Yeah. Nice. If you didn't live in an apartment, would you have more animals?
I would love if I had a house, I would love to have like a giant like backyard where I could like have a llama and like have a house for like rescue cats. I don't know, like I would love all of that.
Oh, that is so awesome. We went
Yeah.
to baby animal days at this ranch by us, and they had a ton of baby goats.
Oh, baby goats are so cute.
They were so cuddly. Like, I don't think I've ever really interacted with goats
Oh.
before, but they were like jumping in my lap and would just like lay into me.
Oh, I held a baby goat once. They're adorable.
They are.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I love animals, so I was
Me
excited.
too. Yeah.
Obviously. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on. Where can people find you?
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun. So you can find me on TikTok or Twitter as Puffindor. So that's Puffindor. And then on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook as Board Games in a Minute.
Perfect. And then go to boardgamesinAminute.com and do the contact you through there.
Yeah, if anyone would like to contact me to have me cover their game, they can go to boardgamesinAminute.com. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, if you're enjoying the show, I would love it if you followed, subscribed, whatever it's called, wherever you listen to the podcast. If you could leave a review, that would be great. Even if you just tap that little 5 stars and that's it, that's wonderful. If you feel like writing something, that's even better. I would love that. I would appreciate hearing your thoughts, and I just appreciate all the love and support that I've been receiving for all of this. So thank you for listening. Thank you so much. If there's somebody that you would like to hear on the podcast, let me know. If anybody in the board game community, no matter how big, no matter how small, I would love to talk to them, I'm sure. If it's you, even easier, because then I know you want to be on it, and it's not really a question. It's just like, when can we do it? All right, that's all I have. Until next time, keep nerding out.